So what is the right thing to do to impress your society, to impress yourself, to improve your career, to impress your parents, or job satisfaction, or ultimately a hefty paycheck? Now, I know you guys are confused, and it's very confusing for students as well, what to choose, what not to choose. There's so many options available. That's why TV9 and News9 have come together to put this education expo for you. It's happening tomorrow and day after at the Shantinagar BBMP grounds, where you would find career counselors, management gurus, academicians being there at the spot, trying to help you out with your career, trying to tell you which course to take, which college to choose, what is the future like, and giving all that you need when it comes to choosing the right path in your career, because career is very important to shape your future, and we realize the importance of that. Joining us today on our panel are, of course, an expert team of panelists who are from a very reputed colleges as well, starting from Mr. Venkatesh. He's the professor in the Brindavan Group of Institutions. Thank you, Mr. Venkatesh, for joining us on this panel today. Next to him, we have Mr. Manjunath. He's a member and a teacher and a faculty of the Narayan IAS Academy.
Director.
He's the director of the Narayan IAS Academy. Thank you, Mr. Manjunath, for joining us. And then we have Dr. Chaitanya. He is the principal of HKBK College of Engineering. Thank you, Dr. Chaitanya, for joining us. And next to him, last but not the least, we've got Mr. Ray Titus. He's the professor in Alliance University. Thank you once again for joining us, gentlemen, on this panel. And I'm sure we have too much to talk about when it comes to student, beat all the odds. Society, parents, auntie, uncle, friends. What does he do to get clarity in his mind to which career I should choose without worrying about the future too much?
Okay. Before I tell you about how students can come to a conclusion about what kind of courses to pursue, I think it's pretty important for us to realize that today India's unemployability rates are very, very high. So 2 out of 3 graduates coming out of institutions today are unemployable.
Yes.
So that's a worrying statistic. I think it's pretty important for students and parents to realize the transition between 12th standard, your pre-degree, and when you get into a bachelor level program. So let me explain that very quickly.
Sure.
Up till the 12th standard, whatever you've studied pretty much helped you understand the world around you. So physics helped you understand the laws of the universe.
Yes.
Mathematics is a universal language. History helped you understand your past. Geography helps you understand planet Earth. Biology helps you understand flora and fauna, etc. So you had a fundamental understanding of the world around you. But now when you transition from your 12th standard and move into a degree program, technically this is where the rubber meets the road. Now what you're stepping into is a world where you are supposed to inculcate skill sets that find value in the marketplace.
Correct.
So whether you're an engineer or whether you pick medicine, whether you pick hospitality, media, you're supposed to be inculcating skill sets that you can take into the marketplace and find value for it.
Correct.
That transition needs to be understood carefully. Now to the question of how do you decide as to how to make that transition and which vertical should you step into. Now the 12 years that you've spent in school should have pretty much given you an idea about what you're good at.
Okay.
Much of that, of course, comes from within you. You figure that out yourself.
Okay.
And you need some hand-holding too.
Correct.
Your teachers, your parents, society around you, people who are experts, etc., give you an idea as to what you're good at. Now you got to match that with an opportunity in the marketplace.
Correct.
For example, let's assume that I'm really good at, like Professor was talking about, numbers. And I'm very analytical. I love working with gadgets. Then maybe it's a good idea for you to pursue engineering, for example, automobile engineering. Now look at the statistic just yesterday. Despite some brands in India, failing the crash test, automobile buying has gone up in the marketplace, which means there's a huge demand out there for automobiles, which means that particular vertical would require professionals. And therefore that's your cue to pursue that. Now I've sat through a lot of interviews where students have told me that I've done 4 years of engineering just because my dad wanted me to do it. That doesn't make sense. So parents and other people experts have a responsibility to help students match their skill sets, something that they're really passionate about, with opportunities in the marketplace. And that dictates, and technically it's called strategic fit. That dictates the kind of courses that you pursue, whether it's engineering, hospitality, biotechnology, you name it. Yeah, that's how you go forward.
That's a brilliant way of looking at it. The transition, which is very important after your 12th grade, into developing those skill sets where you can find a job, where you can contribute to the society, where you can be of value to the market. And if that market sees value in you, then your life is set. You get a job, you keep improving in your career, and you go ahead. So it's important to recognize in those 12 years what you're good at least guess what you're good at. And if you come to a conclusion, then choose the right course. Otherwise, you're not going in the right direction. And that is why TV9 and News9 have got to to you this Education Expo, which is happening tomorrow and day after, 21st and 22nd of May at the BBMP Shantinagar grounds. It's a one-stop place for all you students and parents out there who want to know more about careers, who want to know what's the next best thing, which career to choose, what is the right path to take. And when you speak to these management gurus, these academicians and these professors, you'll definitely get a clear idea, because they're there for you to explain to you all these education related queries. But more often than not, Doctor, you forget to live your course. Dr. Ray, do you feel the students, when they choose a course, they just have to start enjoying it and forget about the future? Just enjoy your course and understand your course, so that the future is not that bad.
I think you have to approach, the students have to approach this with a sense of balance.
Okay.
So the starting point would be to pick a course that you're really interested in. To pick a course where you think you have skill sets that you can utilize, you have an inclination for it, you have an aptitude for it. So that's the first part of the story. Now, once you step into that institution, for example, at Alliance, for us the focus is on something called assurance of learning.
Okay.
That every student who comes in is assured great business learning. Okay. And so this. When a student steps into an institution, it's almost as if the institution and the student meet halfway. Okay. So the student comes in, he comes in with his attitude, with his sense of discipline, his sense of curiosity, his sense of passion, and the institution meets him halfway by telling him, listen, we're going to facilitate a great platform for you to learn. And that learning today needs to be all-round kind of a learning. For example, at Alliance, and I'm talking specifically about our MBA program,
okay,
our focus is on ensuring that our students are what are called deep generalists,
okay,
and so they understand business deeply,
okay,
plus they are specialists in a particular function. Okay. So for example, you could be a deep generalist and a marketing specialist.
Okay.
Now our objective then is to facilitate great learning so the student steps out into the marketplace as a great marketeer. Okay. Now who's a great marketeer? Who can market anything? Yeah. You can market a soap, you can market an airplane, you can market a media company.
Yes.
That's the objective of the institution. Now for a student to inculcate these skill sets, like you said, placement is a byproduct. It's an outcome. Placement is not the focus.
Yes.
The focus is on ensuring that you have skill sets that are valuable, like I said earlier. Now, one more thing you've got to realize, institutions and students have to realize, is that much of the marketplace is also changing. And so your skill sets have to always be updated. For example, technology changes. Yes. Look at business models like the Big Bazaar versus the Big Basket business model.
Correct.
Today, I'm ordering groceries online. Who thought this would happen? And so it's important for the institution to bring these skill sets onto the table. It's important for the student to inculcate these skill sets, and placements will be an automatic outcome.
Absolutely.
And that's what we try and ensure, for example, at Alliance School of Business, Alliance University.
Very well said. Very well put, that you've got to stay in touch and sync with what the current market has to offer, and every organization wants somebody who can add value, who can make a difference, because the run-of-the-mill kind of students are there everywhere, but what separates you, what makes you so unique, what can you do to our company is what every organization is looking for, because the market is booming. We have the online world which is taken over now. We don't no more go to retail stores. Everything is on the fingertips. So how well you upgrade yourself, how good you are at selling yourself to the recruiter is a must, especially if you're a student, especially technical students, as of course Dr. Chaitanya, Mr. Ray, Dr. Ray will. The overall development of a student also depends on the communication skills. A word on that and what you had to say.
Okay, just to add a point before what you asked me, I would advocate a slightly different path. Okay. I think students need to look at becoming job creators, and so there's a huge movement now going across institutions in India where students are graduating and they're coming up with their own startups. Remember one thing. Everything other than nature has been made by a company. So everything in this room, for example, has been made by a company. And just one more thing. Everything that currently exists is always going to be bettered.
Okay.
And so there's an opportunity for you to create better solutions for consumers, either incrementally better or radically better, which means that a lot of students today are saying, listen, I don't want to be a job taker. I don't want to go and just start working for a company. I want to start that company.
Yes.
And so we've got examples like the Oyos of the world, the Paytms of the world, the Olas and the Ubers of the world. For example, take Oyo.
Yeah.
Oyo was started by a kid who was 19 years old, Ritesh Agarwal. He was 19 when he started Oyo. And Oyo today is an aggregator of hospitality spaces around the country and solves what is called the problem of unpredictability.
Correct.
And so I would advocate that students take not the beaten path,
yes,
the new path, and they come up with startups. And that's happening, for example, at Alliance. A lot of students are coming up with their own startups. It's happening at the IIMs. And so I would recommend that. And to come to your part of communication skills, etc. Now, it is important that a student is inherently curious, that he is passionate. And that curiosity to want to make the world a better place is what makes him, do whatever is necessary to be successful in the business world. Which would mean, for example, part of your success is networking. So how well can you talk to people? How well can you understand their psyches? How can you connect to those psyches? That's where students realize that communication is the key. That I need to be able to understand people. I need to be able to perceive correctly. I need to be able to respond correctly. So much of their focus on communication skills, personality skills, comes from an understanding that this is required out there in the marketplace. And I would recommend that students take that very, very seriously.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today on our panel and educating our viewers about the different career options and also giving clarity about what to do and what not to do while choosing a career after 12th standard or even after graduation. Ladies and gentlemen, mark these dates very, very carefully. It is the 21st and 22nd of May. When you come to the BBMP Shantinagar grounds here in Richmond Town and be part of the News9 and TV9 Education Expo, you would get to meet all these management gurus, these top professors, these academicians, and all these people from the world of education who will guide you, who will take you to the right path and give you clarity as to what you really need to do. What is the right path to take if you want to shape your career and give wings to your dreams? After all, what is life without a good career, and what is life without having clarity in mind as to what you need to do for the rest of your life? And as of course Professor Ray said, if you keep looking for jobs, you'll only stick with the job. When you start giving jobs, I think you'll make this country a better place to live in. Thank you so much for joining us on this panel today. A News9 Bulletin will be on the other side.